About 1 year ago, I had followed a systematic step by step approach and came across the best kept secret: 3 steps to the hidden treasure. Hi, my name is Arjun Chaudhary, and welcome to Mission Happiness Summer Special. Today, we have a very special guest amongst us, Mr. Richard Canfield.
Hi.
So, let me briefly share with you the steps that I followed that took me to Richard. Step number 1: I read the book Make More, Work Less by my good friends Fong and Jessica, in which Richard's name was mentioned. Step number 2: I read the book Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And step number 3: I booked an appointment with Richard, had a discussion with him in his office, some back and forth emails, and then I signed a policy. Now you must be wondering, what is the hidden treasure? Richard, take it away.
Thanks, Arjun. Well, the hidden treasure really is a well-designed, high cash value whole life insurance contract. The key beautiful thing about these contracts is, number one, they pay dividends to participating owners. In other words, you participate as an owner with the insurance company in their profits. It's a wonderful thing. And in fact, companies in Canada have been doing this dating all the way back since 1848. Canadian insurance companies using these products have been paying dividends every single year without missing a year, dating that far back. It's really quite uncanny, and it's a very special thing to be a part of if you understand how to implement it. One of the key aspects of the implementation is knowing how to use it. You see, we're all saving money, building up money, and trying to build a reservoir of our wealth so that we can take advantage of opportunities that come around, and also so that we can do things like paying down debt and so forth. And the more we're able to have safety and security on our capital without the risk of market environments trying to threaten it all the time, the better position we are to have more happiness in life. And by having that safety and security net for our family and protection, it really does take the stress off. And one of the number one causes of stress in the household is finances. So when you have a product like this that's a multitasking tool, it really allows you to do so many things that you already are planning to do in life. Let me give you a quick example. So for most people, what happens is they have a zero balance here, and what we do is we build up and we save money over time, and we save it for the purpose of buying something down at the end. Maybe you want to purchase a car, and that car is going to be $10,000. Well, you save up capital over a period of time, and then you deplete the capital and you go back down to zero because you trade that money over to a car dealer and you now have a car. But you don't have the money anymore. The money has been transferred away forever. It can't work for you or for your family for the rest of your life or your children's life. It's a multi-generational transfer. Well, the system that we use changes the game on that a little bit. By using these properly designed high cash value structures, what we create is another savings location for your money that's highly liquid, but it creates a multitasking effect. It's very powerful. So you still save the money in the same fashion by making a deposit into this insurance contract. And what happens is when it's time to go and spend that money and buy that vehicle, you actually take what's called a policy loan. And so you now have the money comes out and you go buy the vehicle, but your capital is actually continuing to grow as though you didn't touch the capital. So you're able to use the money, but you're able to still grow it at the same time. It's a very, very powerful tool because what you're using is the collateral of the equity through the insurance company, and you have total control over the entire process. It's actually a beautiful thing. And so in this process, if you're operating what Nelson Nash, who's the author of the book Becoming Your Own Banker, would say as an honest banker, well, you would make a vehicle payment back to yourself. And as you pay it back down, you now have all of this equity here that you can access again. So if you pay off that vehicle in a 4 or 5 year period, the same way you would have done had you went and bought it from the car dealer and financed the car, you now have all that capital stored to use again for a future purchase. It's a very powerful method of saving, building wealth, and also containing the money that is going to be flowing through your life in cash flow. So this is referred to as a cash flow management system. And it's really a way that we think about how money flows through our life on a repeated basis. And we're starting to take control back of that money without seeing it disappear to other people on a regular basis. And so people that implement this strategy, they find it's empowering. It gives them a sense of control back. They love the flexibility that comes with it. They love the ability to know that their family is protected in the process. Heaven forbid something should happen, because I don't know about you, Arjun, but life happens from time to time.
Mhm.
And when it happens, we least expect it. And so you don't want to be in a position where some negative event happens in your family and you're left maybe without an emergency fund, or heaven forbid, somebody passes away prematurely. In this environment, a wide chunk of tax-free money comes in and it solves a whole bunch of problems when your family needs it most. Best of all, it creates a multi-generational impact. So I'll give you a personal example. May I share a personal example?
Absolutely.
So I'm a father, and I have, at the time of this recording, I've got two children. My daughter's almost 2 years old, and my son is 3.5. And so I have programs like this, just like this, set up myself, my wife, and for my two children. And what's really cool is that when I'm much older, hopefully it's much longer in the distance from now, and Richard passes away, there's a large amount of tax-free capital that's going to come out, and it's going to go to my wife and or to my children. What's really cool about that is they have their own systems and plans, and so it's going to allow them to enhance and increase that. And every time that we go and purchase a computer, a vacation, something new for my business, or we invest in, say, a piece of investment property, or we do private lending. We like private lending a lot. We do one of these things. We use this warehouse of capital as the reservoir where we grab that money from, and then we go and make that opportunity or that investment. And when that happens, when I pass away, that policy pays out, and any outstanding indebtedness or policy loans are completely extinguished, and the rest of the money goes to my family tax-free. And then they're able to keep and maintain all of the things that we've spent a lifetime building without having to worry about the government or someone else coming to take it away from them. It's a phenomenal way to transition money and wealth over multiple generations and keep the money in the family where it belongs. We're going to spend a lifetime working hard to go and build up our wealth and build up our nest egg. Wouldn't it be unbelievable if you could take that build up and that wealth and continually be able to harness its potential over multiple generations? That's the way that the wealthy think about how they implement their money. And you're able to do that with this concept. The infinite banking concept, also known as becoming your own banker, has been an absolutely liberating thing in my own life and in so many Canadian families. And so I really encourage you to learn more about it. And a great way to start is to get a copy of that book. And the 3-step process that Arjun walked you through is a phenomenal way to get it done.
Well, thank you very much, Richard. I had one question for you.
Sure.
Now, when we were discussing, you had mentioned that it can help as far as retirement is concerned. Could you expand on that more?
Sure, absolutely. And so there's a powerful strategy that is commonly known in Canada as either an insured retirement plan or a preferred retirement solution. These are common terms that it's used. And it's a method where you build up a reserve of capital inside of a properly structured cash value policy, generally a whole life policy like I've talked about. The way that others design them versus how I may do it might be a little different. But the key is that you build up this reservoir of equity, and then you're able to take that and you're able to go and get a collateral assignment on it, and you're able to get an operating line of credit from a traditional banking institution. And what happens is you slowly chip away at that equity over time, and you actually do it in a tax-free manner. So it's a way you can enhance your existing retirement accounts or completely replace them in a way that actually is proven to be tax-free in Canada by using that strategy. Now, there's many ways to maneuver through that can be very effective, but it's very, very popular. And for people that implement this infinite banking concept strategy, it's a perfect way to marry many of the other things that they're already doing, or in fact, even replace them. I find that, as you know, Arjun, I'm a real estate guy. I like real estate and real estate investing. I find that especially real estate investors and people that own houses who understand the value of equity and building equity over time, really, when you build a properly set up whole life contract that pays dividends, it's kind of like buying a house, except you don't have all the Mickey Mouse expenses of repairs and maintenance and redoing the roof and replacing the furnace. And you actually create an uninterrupted compounding effect on your deposits over time. It's truly something phenomenal to be a part of.
Well, thank you so much, Richard, for the explanation. Now, I'm very lucky to have met Richard. I have tremendous admiration for him and his IBC Private Banker Facebook community page, which only his clients have access to. Now, Richard believes in constantly educating his clients and making them more knowledgeable as far as finances are concerned. And just by following his Facebook community page, I became aware of some fantastic investment platforms such as wealthbar.com, lendingloop.ca, which is based on the whole concept of Canadians helping Canadians. So thanks a lot, Richard, for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Now, I had one final question for you.
Sure.
I know you briefly touched upon it. How is whole life insurance tied to happiness? Could you expand on that a bit more?
Sure. I mean, for me, I can speak in my own personal perspective. It's tied to happiness for me because I know that if anything were to happen to Richard, because of the way that I've set things up for my own family, being the primary breadwinner of my household, my wife and my children are taken care of no matter what. That to me creates a level of peace of mind. And that peace of mind transitions into happiness. So just knowing that I've set that up in stone and I have that security and protection in place, to me relieves a lot of pressure, and it does that for my wife as well. And so I think that the number one stressor in most households, period, and in most marriages and relationships is often a money, and it can drive a wedge between people and their relationships. Mm-hmm. And so I think the number one cause of a lot of divorce and relationship breakdowns often has to do with the money in the household. So when you can create structures and things in place that really take some of that away, and it takes the pressure off and it reduces the stress, not only does it make you healthier because you're not stressed. Stress is also the leading cause of some of our health conditions. Mm-hmm. Then you're in a better position to have more joy in your life. And I think that really ties into the happiness aspect, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Richard. Well, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for doing this. And I want to give a big shout out to my friends Fong and Jessica, who introduced me to you. You both are superstars. So go ahead and follow the 3-step process and get access to your hidden treasure. So it's bye from Richard and me now. Remember, happiness is the key to success. I'll talk to you soon.